Hello vinyl collectors. Today I thought I would show a group that everybody in the world knows, the Beatles. I actually didn't have almost no Beatle albums in my collection up until a few years ago. The only album I had was the White Album, because I like some of the quirky songs on there, like Why Don't We Do It in the Road, Rocky Raccoon. Then about 4 or 5 years ago, I was at a flea market and I bought a few collectible albums off a vendor that I've been dealing with for many years. And after I paid him, was ready to walk away, I noticed he had a box of Beatle albums, mostly the early Beatles, Capitol Rainbow pressings, mono. I asked him how much he was selling his Beatle albums for, and he replied, "Take whatever you want." So, needless to say, I pulled a bunch from the box, and that started my collection of Beatle records. And then just recently, a friend of mine called to say he was selling his record collection, and I could come over and have a look, see what he wanted, whatever I wanted. And turned out he had a lot of Beatle albums on the Parlophone label, later pressings on the black label with the silver writing, but they were all in mint condition. So between the flea market vendor and my friend, I picked up quite a few Beatle albums. So I'll show you what I have in my collection, and just sort of a summary on the Beatles themselves. That's my understanding. They put out something like 12 studio albums and 13 EPs, and I think it's somewhere in an area of 22 singles over their career. And one of the things, in the UK, of course, they're on Parlophone, and in the United States, Canada, they were on Capitol. Especially in their early years, the albums did not sync up. Some albums were released in one country but not the other, and the songs were not the same between some of the earlier albums. And so makes it a little bit difficult when you're trying to go through the discography of the Beatles. But I'll show you what I have anyways, and I just want to bring up a chart here so I sort of know what I'm doing. My first album that I have, Parlophone label, Please Please Me, the Beatles. And this came out in, I think, March '63 in the UK only. Parlophone pressing, reached #1 on the charts in the UK. Because everybody knows the Beatles, I won't be putting any sound bites on top of my video on this one. The next one I have, sort of Beatlemania with the Beatles. This one here, with the Beatles, came out in November '63 in the UK on Parlophone, and Capitol in US and Canada. #1 in the UK. I don't believe this particular one charted in the United States. My next one, Parlophone with the Beatles. So this is sort of that first one I just showed you was Capitol pressing, and this is the Parlophone pressing with the Beatles. And Roll Over Beethoven is on this one. Money, Please Mr. Postman. So lots of hits on that one. Then we have Meet the Beatles, which is on the Capitol label. And this came out January '64 in the United States and reached #1 on the charts. Next one I have, Twist and Shout, which was released in Canada, February '64. Don't know if this one charted or not. Of course, Twist and Shout is on this one. She Loves You, Please Please Me. So you see the overlap with songs between different albums. The next one I have, which Capital Rainbow Pressing, is A Long Tall Sally. And I'm not super sure when this one came out. I don't know if there's a date on it. So this one here, Roll Over Beethoven, I Want to Hold Your Hand, I Saw Her Standing There. So again, overlapping other albums. Yeah, Long Tall Sally I think came out in May '64 in Canada only, as far as I know. Next one, this is a Parlophone Pressing, Hard Day's Night. This came out Parlophone in the UK and was on, I think, United Artists in the United States. Hard Day's Night charted #1 in the UK soundtrack. Then the next one I have here is something new, again, the Capital Pressing. Came out July '64, US. Charted at #2, the album. Let's see. I Want to Hold Your Hand in German is on this particular album. Matchbox, I can remember that one on the radio. And the next one I have is Beatles for Sale. This is the Parlophone Pressing. This might be, actually this particular one, I think is a modern 180 gram reissue. It's one that I bought very recently. Probably the latest reissue of all the Beatles. Here's a polygram pressing stereo, which would have been probably back from the 80s. Is this gatefold too? Yeah, same. Rock and Roll Music, Kansas City, I'm a Loser, 8 days a week. Lots of hits on that one. Next one I have, Beatles '65, Capitol Records Pressing. Reached #1 United States, came out I think December '64. Again, let's see, I'm a Loser, Rock and Roll Music. So we're getting a lot of overlap between these early albums. Next one I have, Beatles 4, or no, sorry, Beatles 6. And this is June '65, Capitol Pressing. Reached #1 United States. Dizzy Miss Lizzy, 8 days a week. Kansas City, so you can just see the overlap in these songs. Next one, Parlophone Pressing, this one, Help. This might be a little bit earlier. This is a flip back cover, so it might be '70s pressing. Help, reached #1 in the UK, and also #1 in the United States. Released in August 1965. So, Parlophone Pressing. Capitol Records Pressing. This is gatefold, I think. Let's see. Ticket to Ride, You're Gonna Lose That Girl, Help, of course, some of the big hits off that one. Next one, Rubber Soul, came out December '65. This is the Capitol pressing. I got another one down there. On here, Norwegian Wood was a big hit on that one. And this is Parlophone pressing, probably from the 80s. Drive My Car on this particular one. Let's grab some more. The next one, Capitol pressing, Capitol Records. Let's see there. This is the Beatles, Yesterday and Today. Released June '66. #1 in the US. I think this is the one that originally had the Butcher cover, which was banned. So if you're lucky, you can peel off this one and you find a Butcher cover underneath. You're earning the big bucks. So the next one, Revolver. I think this is a Parlophone pressing because it's a flip back cover. August '66, #1 in the UK, #1 in the United States. Taxman, Eleanor Rigby, Yellow Submarine is on this one. They got their own Good Day Sunshine. So lots of hits on that one. So that was a Parlophone pressing. And this one, Rough Shape, is a Capitol pressing. Next, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, May 1967. This one, I think this is, Capitol pressing. And I think I have the insert as well. Second copy, this is a Parlophone pressing. I don't think there's much difference, really. I guess this one probably has the same insert. Next one, Magical Mystery Tour, Capitol pressing, #1 in the United States. And I think what I've read, I don't think this is probably an error, that it only reached 31 in the UK. It's doubtful. Of course, this is the one, the book inside. We won't go through every page. I've actually got 2 or 3 copies of this album. Must have cost a lot to produce this jacket back in the day. The next one, the White Album. Not a lot to see on the jacket. This is not a numbered copy. I have seen numbered copies at the flea market. This is a capital pressing as well, and I think this is a later issue. This is the old sort of the orange or peach color. I found this one actually in a record store, and the posters and that were still in there, and that great big giant poster which has the lyrics on one side and a bunch of pictures on the other side. This for a long time was the only Beatles album I owned, and was one of my favorite because of a lot of the like I say, quirky songs that were in there. There's a lot of good tracks. My personal favorites, like almost the entire album I like. Hardly any bad tracks at all, except for that one, Revolution number 9. I don't like that. That's crap. Back in the USR is great. Glass Onion, Wild Honey, a lot of fantastic tracks on this one. Rocky Raccoon, Why Don't We Do It in the Road. So yeah, Helter Skelter, of course, which Charles Manson made reference to. Next album, Yellow Submarine, January '69, number 3 in the UK, number 2 in the United States, number 1 in Canada on the charts. I don't think there's anything in there. I'm not too crazy on this album. This would be one of my least favorites. I guess this is a capital pressing. I'll try to put it up. I'm looking at the... No, it's Apple pressing. Next one, Abbey Road. This turns out this is also one of my favorites. Abbey Road, September '69. Just I Want You, She's So Heavy. That's probably one of my favorite Beatle tracks. So Abbey Road, of course, we finished number 1 in just about every country in the world, including US, Canada, UK. Next one, Let It Be, released May 1970, number 1 in Canada, UK, United States. This one is one of my lesser favorite Beatle albums. I guess it's because maybe it's a little bit more laid back than some of the other ones. I'm not sure why, but I tend to listen to this one the least. And it's my understanding that Abbey Road and Let It Be were recorded opposite to their release. Like Abbey Road was recorded last, but got released first before Let It Be. A few more I'll just show. And this is, I think it was at Now. This one is The Beatles Again, compilation of some of their stuff. Ballad of John and Oko's on here. Old Brown Shoe, Revolution, Hey Jude, Don't Let Me Down, and Paperback Writer. So a lot of the big hits. So I don't know if there's a date on this one or not. Probably not. I think that's on the Apple label. The Beatles' first live recordings, Hamburg, Germany, 1962. This is on a Pickwick label, which I usually associate with discount labels in Canada. So on here, Little Queenie, Kansas City, Hully Gully, Bebop Alua. So they're doing a lot of cover tunes that were typical for the early '60s garage bands. Got this one here. I guess this is Record 2, Volume 2, Hamburg, Germany, recordings 1962. Also the Pickwick label. Here we got Matchbox, Ain't Nothing Shaking, Falling in Love, Sheila, Red Cells in the Sunset, Shimmy Shake. So again, doing lots of covers typical of the garage and rock and roll bands early 60s. Rarities. I'm not sure. I think that yeah, this is a Parlophone pressing, and I think it's a fairly early one too. So, no, it's Black Label. I think this is where they got some of the German recordings on this one. So I haven't played that one too much. Can't remember. The last couple, the Beatles, 62 to 66, which is sort of like the greatest hits from that time. Picked this up at a flea market. This one is on the red vinyl. So needless to say, you can pretty much guess the color of this one. 67 to 1970. And it's on the blue vinyl. So as you can see, I picked up quite a few Beatles albums over the last few years, when for most of the time the only Beatles record I had in my collection was the White Album. So I have actually one more to show. I almost forgot about this one. This is 7-inch. It's 45. Which when I bought my friend's collection, this was one of the ones he had. Again, like the album, it has the book inside. Actually, it looks like there's two 45s on here. These are Parlophone. I've never actually played them. And I know this says what songs are on here. Quick look. Magical Mystery Tour, Your Mother Should Know, I'm a Walrus, The Fool on the Hill, Flying Blue Jay Way. UK pressing, so this is something you may not see too frequently. So finally, that's it for my Beatles albums. Pretty much got most of the main stuff covered off. Not much in the way of bootlegs, don't really collect bootlegs. So anyways, thank you for watching and have a great day.